Good afternoon, the Honorable Permanent Secretary. Thank you very much for that very warm gesture of giving those employees a hug. It means a lot to many of them. Good afternoon, Dr. Dalton. Good afternoon, my brother from another mother. And, good afternoon, Mimi. Thank you very much for being with me. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not going to greet you because she's put me on this podium to speak. But please, can we put our hands together again for you? She's done it. It's such a privilege to be the reviewer of this book, and I hope I do some justice to it. But let me say something that if you do nothing here today, please buy the book before you leave. I'm a salesman. Okay? And, so if you listen, you enjoy yourself, or you don't buy a book, you get on. And some people are debating to say, okay, just swipe your card, you can go with it. Right, thank you very much. My job is to review Unboxed, and please give me some time. I tried to wrap it up, but it's a 174-page book, so it's some work. Right, Unboxed is a 5-part, 17-chapter book that is a rare application of business strategy and principles to life, specifically to parenting, raising and grooming the boy child into a matured, emotionally stable and available, responsible man. Because you can be matured, you can be stable emotionally, but you're unavailable. But the purpose of this is to ensure that you're stable and you're available. And in this book, Nkiru brought a lot of realities into what I call relatable realities, but I'll try and pick just a few of them. But I'll start, unlike the way reviews are done, people first go into the content and talk about the style, but because of the way she wrote the book, I have to start from the style before I get into the content. Okay. So Nkiru's writing style is exceptionally beautiful, because allegories are powerful tools for effective and transformational communication. And Nkiru did a fantastic job of creating stories around 3 boys. These boys are Harvey, Jay, and Carl. She did this not just to capture the critical developmental stages of the boy child's transition into adulthood, but also to focus the reader on the peculiar issues and challenges that the boy child faces at each of those junctures. Now, Nkiru didn't stop at analyzing the problems. She provided strategic, practical, and relatable pathways to resolving the problems. She employed a BTC proprietary frameworks to guide the principal actors in this evolution, that is, the boy child himself, the parents or guardians, the schools, the government and their agencies, the corporates, and the larger society. Now, something beautiful about what she did was what I call, what it's known in business as ecosystem thinking. Okay, that's what underlies the entire excellent work that Nkiru has done, because the various stages of the boy child's development and the solution designs are anchored on that. So she touched every part of the pie. She had a holistic view of the issues, the actors, the institutions, and the desired output. Nkiru had a clearly visualized and well-articulated end in sight before she began the analysis. Her solution designs therefore spoke to a vision of responsible manhood, not abstractions. Now here's a quote that captures a visualized destination, and I'm quoting directly. He says, "We are going to dismantle the false narratives the world has built around manhood. We are going to replace them with a structured, actionable, and deeply empathetic architecture for raising the next generation." What a succinct way to capture the end game. Please come put your hands together for Joe. Now, in addition to the use of allegories, Nkiru displayed an excellent use of relevant authority quotes, illustrative proverbs, real stories, and personal testimonials. An added combination of these moved the book away from a prescriptive strategy work to a compelling life application roadmap to responsible male adulthood. And so let's see the tone that Nkiru set in the book, because when you start reading the book, he drives you straight into the tone of the book. Nkiri said the two are subject by an empirical scan of the environment and the establishment of the fundamental constructs that have defined the state of the boy child and his evolution into adulthood, either responsibly or irresponsibly. She uses credible data and shows us terrifying statistics of the negative impact of what she defined as a toxic definition of manhood. And from Nkiri's perspective, as a society thus far, we have left the boy child running on obsolete, toxic masculinity code. The result is incredibly terrifying, as we see from the book. She took 3 very worrisome stats. Number 1, according to the World Health Organization's global health estimates, male suicide rates are consistently more than twice as high as female suicide rates. And from Nkiri's research statistics, this gap continues to widen in developing nations. Number 2, operational reports and public data from EFCC between 2021 and 2024 consistently highlight that over 70% of cybercrime, that's Yahoo, arrests in Nigeria are young males between the ages of 17 and 25. And then she spoke about the explosion in drug use with the devastating effect in crime rates and increase in mental health issues among boys. Nkiri's submission is that broken, dangerous men do not just fall from the sky. They are the direct result of boys who are raised on the toxic, warped definition of manhood and left to navigate a terrifying society without a compass. She called this toxic behavior modeling framework the macho box. Now, Nkiri adapted the macho box from the foundational work of educator Paul Kivel. It represents the rigid, suffocating set of rules that society enforces on boys and men. And according to Nkiri, the macho box operates from fear and shame. It teaches boys that to be accepted as a real man, they must stay inside the box. And the walls of this box are built with destructive lies. We've heard quite a number of them. Boys don't cry. Empathy is weakness. Women are subordinates. Anger is the only acceptable emotion. Your value is strictly tied to the money in your pocket. The magic box offers the boy child silence when the boy needs emotional safety. Freedom without direction when the boy is struggling with identity and the pressure of crushing society expectations he hadn't been prepared for. According to Nkiri, the magic box is goodness. If a boy tries to step out of the box, if he shows sadness, if he asks for emotional help or refuses to dominate others, the society, his peers, and even parents punish him with ridicule. The essence of the magic box is isolation. It produces men who are ego, power, financial success driven but emotionally bankrupt. The result of this error are broken, insecure, and unguided men. And we see examples all around us. Now the big questions that Nkiri's analysis raises are: 1. If you are left with broken, insecure, and unguided men, who will marry our well-raised daughters? Who will raise the next generation of men? And who will midwife the future? Very big questions. Nkiri believes and submits that if the future is important to us and we truly want a safe, equitable world for our daughters, we must raise sons who know how to honor them. A well-raised boy does not oppress the girl child, she says, rather, he becomes her greatest advocate. Now, before moving to designing solutions to fix the problems, Nkiri beamed her light on a pervasive blind spot. Boys are not always the villains. They are also victims. She advocated that we must shatter the illusion of male invulnerability. Nkiri submits, and rightly so too, that society is always quick to label boys as perpetrators. However, the same society is agonizingly slow to recognize them as victims. She went on to list instances where boys have been abused and victimized and wondered how such boys, if unrepaired, can grow up to become responsible adults. Nkiru referenced the landmark Violence Against Children survey published by the National Population Commission with support from UNICEF and the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And it reports that 1 in 10 boys in Nigeria experience sexual violence before the age of 18. But unfortunately, the society is silent about that. Okay, now let's meet Nkiru's 3 boys. Harvey, Jay, and Carl. At 7, Harvey is a bundle of emotions. He's innocent, he's vibrant, he's honest, and entirely human. He doesn't hide his emotions. When he needs to cry, he cries. When he's pained, he cries. So at this point, Harvey is most vulnerable. But unfortunately, he doesn't yet know that the macho box framed world considers his vulnerability a weakness. But soon the battle begins. It begins to hear expressions like, "Stop crying like a girl. Are you not a man? Toughen up." Men don't show weakness. You have to fight back. Don't let anyone take you for granted. And then Harvey is defenseless against that world. He cannot fight for himself. He depends on us parents, on educators, and noble individuals to protect him from this toxic programming of the society. Nkiru's submission is that the battle for his mind is entirely up to us. Welcome to Jay. Jay is the hormone-surging, rapidly changing adolescent at 14. He is desperately seeking independence while wrestling with the massive peer pressure. He's in the eye of the storm. And this is the stage where parents feel the most friction because it's the stage that he begins to pull away to figure out who he really is. Jay needs to be guided safely through these turbulent years with his ethics intact. However, the macho box is unable to help him. The macho box sees danger from the outside, but is totally blindsided that the danger is now inside, right inside Jay's bedroom, on his phone, and within the school environment. Now we come to Carl. Carl is the young boy stepping out of childhood and standing on the edge of manhood at 18. The brutal reality of society expectations is hitting him hard. The pressure to make money and the trap of the hustle is on for Carl. He's torn between 2 divergent views of strength and worth. The one is about physical dominance or illicit wealth. The other is about emotional fortitude. Now, how Carl turns out is dependent on the manhood definition that frames him. Now, to rescue these 3 boys from the prison of the macho box, Nkiru advanced a counterculture. He calls it the Man-Track operating system. Can we put that together for Nkiru? He's a master of frameworks. The book Unboxed, Shaping the Boy Child for True Manhood by Nkiru is a carefully laid out roadmap to not just rescue Harvey, Jay, and Carl, but to raise responsible leaders that will guarantee our future as a people and as a society. The Man-Track operating system is a proprietary transformation pathway developed by Nkiru's Boy Child Transformation Center as a 12-key executive architecture designed to build resilience, empathy, and legacy in the boy child. Man-Track reprograms the boy child's operating system for resilient, empathetic manhood. It operates across 3 phases of the boy child's evolution, from the foundation building years to the identity crossover years and the edge of manhood expectation management years. According to Nkiru, the Man-Track is an open, progressive, 12-key architectural framework for healthy masculinity. It is a continuous journey, not a restrictive cage. Unlike the macho box, which operates on shame, the track operates on accountability and vision. It teaches the boy how to align his biological drives with ethical leadership. Now, Nkiru's vision is to hand over the Man-Track as a framework to parents, guardians, educators, and policymakers to unbox the boy child. It is built on principles like emotional honesty, cognitive empathy, ethical boundaries, and constructive exhaustion. I must say that when I read a piece on constructive exhaustion, I was quite all over. They poured the energy positively, and there were nothing else to use negatively. It teaches a boy that true strength is found in self-mastery, that tears do not wash away his manhood, and that a legacy of value is infinitely superior to a hustle of extraction. Now, here Nkiru's summary pitch at parents and at guardians and the larger society. She says, the macho box wants to cage your son. The man tracker wants to launch him. Which would you rather promote? In Mantrack, Nkiru deploys the tested and proven strategies she uses in a business transformation consultancy, not just to patch the cracks of the broken boy child, but to rebuild it from the core. For every destructive toxic programming, Nkiru offers through Mantrack a constructive and transformative alternative. Mantrack is a playbook for a counterculture to the destructive culture that is fast accelerating the boy child and the society towards certain destruction. Now, Nkiru's strategy is not siloed. He focuses on the strategic activation and synchronization of all the relevant parts of the ecosystem to successfully pull a boy child out of the space and onto the Mantrack. According to Nkiru, her Boy Child Transformation Center recognizes that saving the boy child is not a solo mission. It is systemic. The center therefore operates on 3 core strategic priorities designed to empower all relevant stakeholders. These are 1, stakeholder enablement, especially of parents and guardians to dismantle the macho box and build safe harbors. And the next is institutional integration, where the focus is on partnering with schools and mentors and organizations to institutionalize whatever foundation gets laid from home. And the last priority is global ecosystem advocacy, with the focus on influencing government policies and international mandates. BTC believes that to protect the boy child from systemic abandonment, the 360-degree threat matrix and the hustle trap, we must aggressively challenge the narrative far beyond our local communities. The boy child crisis is a global emergency, she says. Now let me bring this review to a closure by sharing key elements of this strategy as they speak to specific evolutionary stages of the boy child. I'll say this there. All relevant stakeholders will do well to get the book, as I said at the beginning, as a compelling manual with detailed roadmap for transforming the boy child in their lives or their environment. So let's start with the definition of masculinity by Nkiru's Unboxed. While the macho box operates on the core drivers of fear and shame, the Mantrack operates on accountability and vision. Macho box advocates the suppression of emotions. Mantrack advocates emotional honesty. Emotion is treated as data, not weakness. In the place of power over others and physical intimidation as definitions of strength and dominance as advocated and practiced by the macho box, the Mantrack advocates self-mastery, control over oneself, and protection of others. And instead of a brutal focus on an extraction culture and hustle as the ultimate goal of life, the Mantrack advocates legacy thinking and legacy living. The creation of sustainable ethical value becomes the ultimate goal, and the end result of the macho box is emotional bankruptcy and insecure leadership, while on the other hand, the end result of Mantrack is emotionally intelligent and visionary leadership. Now let's look at the Mantrack transformation strategy across the 3 boys, Harvey, Jay, and Carl. Okay. Nkiru posits that every boy needs an internal compass. And she says if we don't give them defined directions, the streets will, the internet will, and peer pressure will fill in the blank spaces, as we just said. And so for Harvey, our first young boy, the bundle of innocent energy, the complex realm of life mission, career purpose is beyond what his tender mind can handle. So what does he need? He needs a foundation upon which his subsequent years can be built. He needs to understand the concept of right and wrong. And Nkiru's view is that we cannot wait until a boy is 15 to teach him to be a good man. He submits that by then, the streets will have taught him how to be a mature one. So we must dismantle the mature box while the cement is still wet. Having its values. It needs an installation of the softwares of empathy, ethical boundaries, emotional honesty, and respect into his hardware. This is the mantra pathway for Harvey. Let's come to J. J in puberty is dealing with an increasingly louder world that threatens to drown his crackling voice. When you're a teenager, your voice begins to crack. And now he's dealing with a world that's so loud. So to avoid being swallowed up by the cacophony, Jay needs a vision. He needs to be able to close his eyes and visualize the kind of man he wants to become, so he doesn't blindly follow the flashy allure of drugs and cybercrime. What about Carl? He's on the edge of adulthood, and he's in what Nkiru describes as the crucible. At this stage, the pressure to hustle and provide is intense on Carl. So to prevent him from cracking under this pressure, Mantrack offers Carl a pathway to understand one, his life mission, the reason why he's here on planet Earth and why he's exactly where he is at this time. Mantrack submits that when Carl understands his life's mission, the allure of quick illicit wealth loses its power because it fundamentally contradicts its purpose. And Nkiru excellently navigated our ways through different personas in this book. He moves effortlessly from a very brilliant business strategist diagnosing a business problem to a passionate mother relating her personal experiences raising 3 responsible young boys into men, and then swiftly to a master storyteller relating other people's stories to validate her strategy, and then to the smart consultant offering effective solutions. So this gives this book a very easy read. He's just moving from personal to personal like a wizard. And she employed proverbs, relevant quotes, hard data from credible sources, and allegories to drive upon some that we have an emergency on our hands. If we do not address the huge challenge of rescuing the boy child from the macho box, the future is at risk. Ladies and gentlemen, Unboxed by Nkiru is a battle cry to all of us. Parents, guardians, governments, NGOs, corporates, and the larger society, we all need to rise up to the challenges of the boy child. He has provided us a roadmap in the book. Let's start the journey now. First, again, by buying the book. I'm going to say smile still. Secondly, by deliberately working through and implementing the Mantrack transformational model in our various spaces, whether at home, at work, at play, in organizations. And thirdly, by partnering with the Boy Child Transformation Center to birth a new future of responsible leadership. Congratulations again, Nkiru, for such an excellent job. Posterity will remember this. Thank you very much.